Hi everybody, it's Mr. K. Welcome to the second semester of Williston Public School District's Virtual Academy music class. In this video, we're going to talk about our guidelines for Google Meet. Now, I know I did a video about this already for last semester, but some of it probably bears repeating, and this is a way for the new people to kind of uh, learn what we're doing here. So, we're going to talk about how we're supposed to act and what we're supposed to do when we're in our weekly Google Meets. I realize that a lot of this information you've probably already gotten from your teacher for your normal Google Meets with your classroom. I just want to make sure that we understand that these are the rules that also apply to the music class Google Meets that we're going to have every week. So here we go. First, let's talk about our environment. I've had problems in the past of students who are not exactly in the right place for Google Meet. I've had some where they were laying in bed. I've had some where they were watching television while they were in my Google Meet, or they were doing stuff that maybe wasn't quite appropriate for the situation. This needs to stop. When we're in a Google Meet with Mr. Kiefner, I would really like it if we were at a table or we were at a desk and we had our focus on what's going on in the meet. Now, it's cold outside right now, so I would say you can be outside because I enjoy going outside myself, but maybe not when it's snowy, cold, and everything else out there. I mean, if that's your thing, I'm not going to stop you. But if you start getting blue lips and your teeth start chattering while you're talking to me in the Google Meet, we're probably going to have to get you to move back inside. But again, I don't want any distractions while we're having these meets. So make sure you're somewhere that you're not going to be distracted very much. Continuing with environment, please make sure you're wearing appropriate clothing. I don't want students showing up wearing their pajamas, or in a couple cases I've had, just not wearing a shirt. Why would you show up to a Google Meet not wearing a shirt? This is education. We're trying to learn things. Okay, so please make sure you're wearing the appropriate clothing. Um, and it has to be school appropriate. Remember, this is school, so we're trying to get that done as well. Next, let's talk about appropriate conversation. Okay, we want to make sure that we're trying to stay on track with music. I mean, that is kind of the class that we're in here. So make sure when we're talking and discussing that we try to keep our conversations to music. Now, I understand that sometimes we can get off track. It's pretty easy for that to happen. It's a music class, and music is related to pretty much everything else in the world. So sometimes that's going to happen, and we'll have conversations about all sorts of crazy things during our music classes and during our music meets. But we do need to make sure that we finish what we're supposed to be talking about, which is music. Okay. And I can't do that if I have students asking me questions about things that I'm not really supposed to teach. Remember, my teaching is music. That's what I'm hired for. That's why the school district has me, so I can teach you how to read, look at, and appreciate music. They didn't hire me so that I could teach you about politics or that I could teach you math. Yes, I'm good at both of those and I'm good at computers and everything else, but I don't want to really do that. I'm here to teach music. So let's keep our conversations to that. Our final and biggest thing I want to talk about is when to speak. Google Meet is really cool in that we can sit and have a conversation with our peers and our friends and everybody else. But the problem is that it allows everyone to speak at the same time. And those of you who've been in a regular classroom, you know that that can get a little obnoxious when there's a whole bunch of students trying to talk at the same time. So there are a couple of things we need to discuss about how to actually talk while we're in class. The first really big thing is that we need to make sure we're talking in turn. Okay? What's going to happen is when we're having our Google Meets, if somebody needs to speak, I will say, all right, it is this student's turn to speak. At that point, they're the only person that should be able to be heard. So everyone else at the bottom of your screen in Google Meet, you're going to see three different icons. One is for it's a little microphone. It's on this side. On right in the middle is going to be a phone with a red dot, and then the other side there's going to be a video camera. Well, obviously the video camera is so you can see me and I can see you. The one that's over here, the little microphone, mutes you. Okay, it doesn't mute the whole video, it just mutes you so that we can't hear your microphone. When I say, or when I'm speaking, whenever there's somebody else that's supposed to be speaking, I need you to click that little icon right there, okay? To make sure that your voice isn't coming over, or if you're in a house, if something else doesn't come over so we don't hear it. That way we can make sure we're listening to the person that's speaking, whether it's me, or whether it's another student, or whether it's a video that we need to be watching, okay? If I'm speaking or someone else is speaking and you need to say something, you need to make sure your video icon is on so I can see your video, and you need to raise your hand. Okay? Now, notice when I raise my hand, I've got 5 fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are out like this. This is what I want to see if you want to speak. If you have your hand like this, or like this, or like this, I'm not going to know what you're actually doing. For all I know, you're stretching. That happens a lot. I get confused sometimes when students are stretching. They got their hands in the air like this, and I'm like, yes, what can I do? Oh, I was just stretching. It's kind of embarrassing. So make sure your hand is up in your screen like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so I can see. Mr. K, I have a question. Or Mr. K, I need to speak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers in the air. Now, sometimes when you're watching the video, I'll always have my video on. If you're watching the video and you see my screen and I put up my hand and you see 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then a closed hand, what that means is that it's time to stop talking. That's the countdown that I do to make sure everyone has their attention. When you see me doing that countdown, what you need to do is go down to the little thing in your screen, remember, the little microphone icon, and click that so it's red so you mute yourself. Because when I'm doing that, that means I need everyone's attention so that they can look and see and listen to what's going on. Maybe I have a question, or maybe I need to make an announcement, but whatever it's for, you need to make sure that when you see that countdown, we stop talking so we can move on with our class. I hope you enjoyed this review of our Google Classroom guidelines. If you have any questions, make sure you're in Google Classroom and you leave a comment so that I can respond to it. We're going to start our Google Classrooms next week on January 11th. Sorry, 12th. Mondays, no meets. And I hope that we'll all be ready when that starts. Thanks. Bye.